Want to know what's funny? I was wearing that heart monitor for a week. I wasn't having any problems. And now I'm having problems. It's weird. Some people told me this actually happens. Like, they monitor you for a while, and everything it appears fine, and then stuff happens afterwards. So it's like, well, that sucks. Yeah, so it's like my first day off of the heart monitor. I just feel funky. Alright, continue story. Let's go after these Riddler things. Peanuts theme song. What about Peanuts theme song? Amber put the Peanuts theme song on?
Bruce?
Nothing.
How are you doing down here, Alfred?
Same as ever, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I must say the cave becomes rather chilly in the winter.
I could look into building some more heaters.
The energy consumption would raise too many eyebrows at water and power. No, I shall have to soldier.
No, I'm having breathing issues for some reason. My throat hurts and I'm having breathing issues. I don't know. Maybe it's from the baking soda. I don't know. Alright, anyway. We're gonna take down Riddler stuff, and we're also gonna take down the missing bad guys. Yeah, that's Eddie. Did I notice that Batman was able to knock Harley Quinn out under the water? Yeah. But Harley grabbed a knife, so Batman didn't have a choice. It is pretty impressive that he was able to hit her that hard under the water and knock her out, though. The amount of force that he would need to do under the water is insane. Some of the best fight sequences I've ever seen under the water was in a James Bond movie, and you know, they were really struggling with the force of the waves and stuff like that underwater, that it looked like they were moving in slow motion, but they were hitting each other as hard as they could. So the fact that Batman could KO Harley with one punch under the water is pretty impressive. Considering James Bond could barely move under the water. James Bond isn't Batman. Mm-hmm. Me too. I'm having a rough spell. Having some breathing-ish. I had some baking soda explode in my face when I was doing chores.
Go.
Citizens are requested to stay in their homes tonight due to increased criminal activity and inclement weather limiting the police force's ability to ensure order.
Maybe it's like a subconscious thing, says Jotaro, because you feel like the monitor's doing its job, and then when it's gone.
Well, I mean, I was fine until I was doing chores because I felt like I had energy again, right? So I was doing a trash run of the house, collecting the different trash cans, putting them together. There was an open thing of baking soda, and I dumped it in the trash, and there was this big pillar of smoke, and I feel funky. Like, my throat feels like... how do I explain it? It's very tight. And... very dry, even though I'm fully hydrated. So I'm just slightly freaking out. You know? But I mean, it was an accident. It's nobody's fault, you know. The baking soda was open, and I was just trying to consolidate the trash. Excuse me. I don't even know how to describe how big the smoke was that, you know, came from the box, but I thought I was far enough away, but I'm having some slight issues. But yeah, I didn't, my heart didn't go above like 145 when I was wearing the heart monitor. My heart, they're gonna see that my heart stayed mostly in the 60 and 70 range all the time. Except for a few instances at night where it rose up to like the 140s. No, I will hurt you.
Damn stupid storm.
Always blame the storm.
Enough. I give up.
Party's over. You're going back to Blackgate.
Please, no. It's horrible there. Don't send me back.
Should have thought of that before you signed up to be a mob hitman. Go.
Yeah. So I'm gonna hunt inmates for now, and then
Curfew in effect. Repeat, mandatory curfew is in effect. Citizens must leave the streets.
Could talk about that anime you
Kenichi. I've been watching some new animes too. For a small cloud of dust during body's natural mechanism should handle it, but if you're concerned, symptoms persist. I should ask them how long before symptoms show up. Okay, we've got another inmate over here, so we're gonna do all the inmates first, and then we'll worry about Eddie and his annoying puzzles. I forgot to change my costume too. Not having a bad day. I'm just had something bad happen. That's not a bad day. I don't know if it's immediately or if it's over time.
I don't think you breathed in very much.
I don't know.
If you did, you'd be coughing. Do you need me to look? I have so
No.
many things
Shh.
to do.
Amber.
Oh my God.
Honey, just relax.
I'm not relaxed because you're not relaxed until you figure out what's going on with this.
I know, but I'm gonna also try to do my stream at the same time. Uh-oh. Why won't you let me dive off? Okay, there was no inmate there. The inmate would be this way.
Okay, here we go, Luke. I thank goodness for Chat GPT or whatever.
Chat GPT.
If you breathe in, according to AI Google, if you breathe
Quiet.
in
You want to get sent back?
too much bacon soda, yes, you would start coughing or
Time
sneezing.
to honor our master's name.
Okay.
There you go.
That.
Not coughing.
Nope, I'm not coughing. Then I'm just having a little bit of anxiety. Okay, I got this.
You cannot stand against us.
Yes.
Another victim.
You're very cute. Down easy.
I will open you up.
You don't think Irish and Scottish people should get together? No.
Because Irish people tease and Scottish people tend to be angry and I will protest. The more you tease me,
But I'm not teasing you today. When have I done anything to tease you today?
at me and said you were funny.
They say
That's
you're
not
the
teasing.
savior of the city or something.
Something like that.
I don't think you're angry. I think
Gordon,
you're.
I've got another prisoner for pickup.
What's the word I'm looking for? I think you're being. Feisty. No, it's not Scottish anger. You're being cute and feisty.
That is Scottish anger.
What's happening? I was doing some what we used to call trash consolidation, and I had a open thing of a box of small box of baking soda. Like the smoke erupted in my face or near my face when I was consolidating trash. And I just feel a little funky, but my wife says that the symptoms would pop up like immediately. I'd be coughing, wheezing, things like that. So I'm just having a little bit of anxiety thinking about it.
Now it gets interesting.
I'm doing fine. I'll come out of it, I always do. Link, what are you eating?
Keep it up.
Oh, speaking of cats, thank you guys for watching the cat short, by the way. You made my job a lot easier today for the first stream of the day. Really appreciate that. We exceeded well over 300 views, so I don't know where we are currently, but...
I hate you so much.
Was that not the guy? I thought that was the guy. Huh. Wasn't the guy. It was the guy. Watching the stream on your VR headset? That has to be interesting. I couldn't do that. But I'm not a big fan of VR. I mean, if you guys like VR, that's cool, but I don't.
I never said I was going legit. Fight! Over here, boys. Come on!
I forgot to put on a costume today.
Come on, you guard!
After I apprehend some of these guys, I'm going to change my costume, I think.
Don't let him hurt! I ain't doing that. You're fighting that freak.
Up and at him.
Crash him!
Whoops.
Look, I don't
Too bad, so sad.
Jingle bells. Batman.
Did the spider battle increase my heart rate?
Oh. Gordon, got one for the Arkham War.
When I was fighting the giant spider in that indie game? Probably got up to like in the 90s, maybe? 90, 100? It didn't last very long. I was probably anxious by the fact it was a giant tarantula in the game. But also, I mean, what were we fighting the giant spider with? A stick. Now you tell me, would you want to fight a giant tarantula and the only weapon you have is a stick? I don't think so. I have a hard enough time fighting giant tarantulas in Zelda games with a sword, but they gave me a stick? I was definitely, messing with my arachnophobia quite a bit. I just did my best not to let it show on stream, but yeah, I was pretty, my heart was beating pretty quick. I mean, I do have a aversion to spiders, so I don't like spiders in games, I don't like spiders in movies. I don't like spiders. Thankfully, there's never been any giant spiders in a Batman game, so. But with fantasy games, yeah, you can run into spiders. Ow. Ouch. I have arachnophobia, yep. It developed in college. Involving a tarantula. Okay, so the next guy's over this way.
You gotta help me. I need a place to hide. Well, what did you already find us? Chase those guys.
Knife goes away. Inmate goes down. Next wave of inmates goes down. Wait, how do you get back up?
Not the face! Not the face!
Don't worry. It'll only hurt when you breathe. Gordon, I've got another escaped prisoner waiting for pickup.
You would accept your fate with the giant spider? I would try to run away. I had a stick. Or go for its eyes. You notice in most Zelda games you attack enemies in their eyes? Do you know why they do that? I could tell you, but you might find it kind of gross. Maybe I'll save it for the fantasy stream tonight. I grew up with Batman the Animated Series. I came home every day from school and watched it on TV. I've memorized the whole show. I've done several videos on Batman the Animated Series over the years. Discussion topics, all kinds of stuff. It's probably one of my most talked about. The thing that I talk about the most for my entire YouTube career is Batman the Animated Series. And everybody in the chat will tell you that. It's my most talked about thing. No matter what game I'm playing, it always gets brought up somehow. It's my favorite show of all time. Probably. I love anime, but I talk a lot about Batman the Animated Series. Behind the scenes, where the stories came from, what the stories meant to me, characterization, the psychology. Batman's personalities or split personality, all kinds of stuff. Bruce Wayne being the Mask. Everybody in the chat can tell you that when it comes to the animated series, I've been talking about it a long time. And I could talk about it randomly.
I got multiple calls available. Sending them out in priority order.
Alright, that inmate's done. Alright, we're gonna go change our attire. Not a single Arkham video without mentioning it? Are we serious? It's that? Really? Huh. What is my absolute favorite episode of Batman the Animated Series? I don't know if I have one. I love too many of them. I know my wife's favorite is Robin's Reckoning. I love Heart of Ice, Robin's Reckoning, Perchance to Dream, Night of the Ninja, where Robin kicks a ninja in the face, and Kyodai Ken is like, "This isn't the movie, boy." And then Robin's like, "Let's see who's going sleepy by in the next couple minutes." Because Kyodai Ken got kicked in the face by Robin, and Batman's struggling to fight him, but Dick's just like, "Alright, let's show him how we do things in Gotham. Yeet!" That was when Kyodai Ken got serious. He's like, "This isn't the movies, boy." It's a great episode. The two-parter episode with Ra's al Ghul, the Demon's Head. A two-part episode of Two-Face is fantastic because of the psychological aspects of it. My least favorite episodes is the one where Catwoman transforms into a cat, Tiger Tiger. I don't like Tiger Tiger Part 1, and I don't like the one where Catwoman turns into a cat. I think that's stupid. I don't like the episode with the three rich guys wearing the masks, like the animal masks, and robbing people. I thought that was a stupid episode. Also, Robin had a bookcase fall on his leg. Never liked that. I love the Shadow of the Bat two-parter. That's a great episode. Almost Got Him is a fantastic episode.
I assume you're referring to the Blackgate escapees.
They need to be rounded up before they cause any more damage.
Or you could leave it to the police.
SWAT's still out for revenge, and the rest of the force is busy cleaning up the other messes. But I will think about it.
That's the spirit.
I'm not a big fan of the Worry Men episode. I thought that was stupid with the Mad Hatter. And I didn't like the episode with the Invisible Man was weird. And there was one other one that I didn't really like. And when I mean I don't like it, I don't hate it, but there's so many better episodes. Batman in his basement, I don't like that episode. What was another one? Another weird one. Man-Bat's a fantastic episode. On Leather Wings, amazing. Heart of Ice is incredible.
Oh, you won't believe this.
What's wrong?
The GCPD have actually asked me to stop calling in so often. Apparently, you're taking down criminals faster than they can be processed.
And you wonder why I don't have faith in the cops.
Well, to be fair, sir, you have been on a mission tonight.
I don't know if I like the first episode with Bane. With the whole Rupert Thorne thing, I don't know. They did an okay adapting, Chuck Dixon's Bane thing, but I would have preferred if the Bane... I think the reason why I don't like the Bane episode is it was all, very rushed. I think Bane deserved a two-parter. What do you guys think? Do you think the Luchador version of Bane in Batman the Animated Series deserved, a two-part episode? Or you think you were fine with it with just being the one episode, the one-off? You think the character deserved, a little bit of build-up, or what? I Am the Night is a great episode, showing the consequences for, Batman going after... Or the consequences for Batman thinking that he's invincible and innocent person gets hurt, namely Jim Gordon. I Am the Night is a episode where Batman has to come to grips with he puts himself in danger, but he doesn't like putting other people. And also Jim Gordon is like a father figure to him. So when Jim gets shot, Batman goes a little off the edge. It has a great cameo with Robin in the episode too, where Robin is going to go out there, and then Batman's like, "No, Dick, this is my fight." It's a great episode. And also, that episode was heavily censored. So the fact that the animators were able to show, what happened to Jim on a censorship, level, where they didn't show him actually get shot, but they showed the aftermath of him being shot from a sniper. That was pretty incredible. Because even as a kid, I got to see the complexities of that storyline, and then as I got older, I really got to digest what that entire episode meant. You know, I understood it as a kid, but I even, like, understood it even more as an adult. Like, it didn't fly past me. Like, most Saturday morning cartoons in the 90s were just, like, really cool action shows. They didn't have, you know, that really big connection with stuff. The animated series, as Bruce Timm and Paul Dini put it, was mini movies. Now, while the X-Men and the Spider-Man show were great, none of them come close to the animated series Shadow. Because every episode, the actors, the guests, the music, the writing, they always brought their A game. It's because they viewed each episode as a mini movie. That was the mentality that they had for 2 seasons. Now, once season 3 popped up, then they started to lose their quality, and that's why the show ended up, you know, kind of just sailing off into the sunset after 85 episodes. They were just kind of like, well, you know. But for 2 seasons, that's the mentality that Bruce Timm and his team had, is we're creating mini movies. The guests that came in, they always brought their S rank or whatever. Like, they put in the best performance that they could, because the voice director, Andrea Romano, I believe was her name, she said that you're not voicing cartoon characters, we're hiring people with voices with character. Whereas Cal Dodd and all those people who did the X-Men animated series, they went into that job as if they were doing a cartoon show. And I still think they did a great job, but there's really not that much complexities to X-Men the animated series or even Spider-Man the animated series. They all delivered performances like they were playing cartoon characters. And that's fine. You know, it was a cartoon show. But that's why, if you notice, they don't call Batman the animated series a cartoon show. They call it an animated series. It's different. And that's why there's never, ever been another show to that caliber that Batman the Animated Series was. Is they just don't have the same mindset that all these other shows did later on, and even at the same time. It was like literally lightning in a bottle that's never been duplicated. Think about that. There has never been, ever, a show that was like Batman the Animated Series to that exact pedigree. It does not exist. There's been shows that have come close to it, like a couple episodes. I really liked Earth's Mightiest Heroes, like the Avengers show. And sometimes I was like, wow, the Avengers could be like a spiritual successor to the animated series. But it never quite hit those strong points. Some of it did. Sometimes it did great storytelling. But, you know, it would come and go. It wasn't consistent. Batman the Animated Series was consistently Emmy Award winning for 2 years. Getting all the major, like, big stars from the 70s, 80s, and 90s to guest star and do voices and things like that. It was, like I said, lightning in a bottle that's never been duplicated. The only time that the animated series started to fall apart with quality and it got kind of goofy was Season 4. Which some people don't include Batman the Animated Series Season 4, the Red Sky series, as part of Batman the Animated Series. They consider it a spiritual successor or a continuation, but they don't view it in the same, like, lens as they do the 85 episodes of the really good animation of Batman the Animated Series. I myself am in that category too. The Red Sky series I almost see as a completely different version of Batman the Animated Series, because the Red Sky series, okay? The Red Sky series had different animation. They modernized Gotham. A lot of people forget this. If you look at Gotham City in the 85 episodes of Batman the Animated Series, it has a dark deco 1950s, 40s aesthetic. When you look at Gotham City in the Red Sky series, it has a lot of modern buildings. They have color televisions, color computers. They have modern technology and cell phones and all this other stuff that were not present in the 85 episodes of Batman the Animated Series. The reason why they did that is they were trying to connect Batman to the Superman show. But I feel when they did that, they lost some of the charm of Batman the Animated Series. So that's why a lot of fans call it the Red Sky series or the Gotham Knights. It's not all bad, mind you. I mean, there's a lot of team-up things that happen between Batman and Etrigan and Superman and, you know, some other characters. It opened the door to the Justice League animated series. But I don't think it's to the same high quality as Batman the Animated Series. It had some good episodes. I liked Nightwing. But I didn't like most of the redesigns for Joker and Riddler and, you know, all those characters. The redesigns were terrible. With the exception of Poison Ivy and Harley. Sweetie, you're cooking something, right? Amber? You're cooking something, right? You're not cooking anything? I'm just asking what that smell is, that's all. I don't know, I smell something weird. It might be eggs, yeah. Yeah, it might be eggs, yeah. Honey, it doesn't take much to set me off, I'm trying. I can't. Most people walk in front of a bus. I'm pretty strong if you think about it. Do we play the Fire Emblem games? We've played a lot of Fire Emblem games. Type Kwings Let's Plays. Type Kwings Let's Plays in Google search. And type the series that you're looking for. Chances are, we played a game you're looking for. Whether it's Mario, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Batman, Spider-Man, Lego, Pokemon. Yeah, just type, type our name, and you'll be able to find whatever you're looking for. Unless it's like a really heavily M-rated game. Like, you won't find Doom, I don't think. Maybe one Doom video, I don't know. You won't find Wolfenstein, you won't find... You'll find Final Fantasy 16, which are bad, but it's members only, I believe. At least it's supposed to be members only. Ugh. Ooh, I did a cool little combo there. I threw my cape stun, and then I broke his shield. I didn't know I could do that. I didn't think the game would let me do that. But yeah, I talk quite a bit about the animated series. Even on Marvel videos. I'm so bad. I talk about Batman during Marvel streams. Oops! Then you shouldn't have done crime.
Get some mitts off of me! Why do you even care if I go back or not?
Because that's what I do, and because it's what you deserve. Gordon, I've got an escaped Blackgate prisoner at my location.
Your favorite design for Batman is the Justice League version? It's a combination of the Red Sky and the animated series. When I say it's a combination look, the animated series had a lot of shading and, like, tints to the costume that just, I mean, it popped. It looked amazing. The Red Sky series, it got it lost the artistic quality. So when they did Justice League and they had a bigger budget, the first thing they did is they made sure that Batman's blue and black costume had that shading and lighting and, you know, the stuff that made the fabric look really good quality again. It was like a marriage of the two styles. The only thing that I do not like about the Justice League Universe Batman is the ears. The ears are way too big. That was the only thing. I love the suit. I like the combination of the two designs from 1992 and 1998. But I do not like the long ears. The episodes he's in are great. Don't get me wrong, but I can't stand the long ears. They're too big. The ears need to be, like, you know, not too short, not too long. There's a good middle ground for Batman's ears. And that show, that was the only thing I didn't like about Justice League, the animated series, is the ears were very off-putting to me. They were too big. Yeah, I didn't like the long ears. It's always bothered me. Like I said, I love the episodes. I like Batman in the show. I like Batman's role in the show. I always wanted to take a pair of scissors and trim the ears. Like, every time I saw and the ears, if you watch the show, they get longer and longer. Almost to the point of parody. And I'm just like, why? I do not like it.
He looks like a donkey, says the
I've always, like, that's my activism right there, is I am not for long-eared Batman. I don't like ridiculously long ears. There's a good, like, compromise that we can do between short and long. There's a nice, happy balance for Batman's ear length. I've never been a fan of big ears. Just like I can't stand the suit that I'm going to be doing tonight, the 1939 suit. I do not like the ears in that suit. It bothers me just looking at it. Cringe. I do not like. That is what I'm an advocate for. I'm an advocate for Batman to have good, medium-length ears. I will fight somebody over that. I'll become an annoying activist for Batman's ear length. That's about it. We waited 10 years for Rocksteady, and Rocksteady hasn't released a new Batman game. The Suicide Squad was not a Batman game. The Suicide Squad was a game that tore down the foundations of the Batman games and made fun of them. The Suicide Squad is hated by most Arkham fans. I would say 90%, and I am going to generalize, 90% of Arkham fans hate with the utmost passion the Suicide Squad and what it did to the franchise. 90%. Tourists and activists love the Suicide Squad, but they have never, ever played an Arkham game, and that's why they tear it down. People who have not created destroy things. People who don't have an appreciation for art destroy things. They have no problem. If they had any inclination or any soul in their heart, they would not have made the Suicide Squad the way they did. They did not play the Arkham games. Ever. Change my mind. And their rhetoric on Twitter for years, building up to that game, proved that the people working on it had no idea what they were doing. I am not a developer, and I know more than most of the Rocksteady people that made the game. Like, if you sat me in a room with 5 of the developers who made Suicide Squad, I know more about Batman and his world in Gotham City than they do in their entire life. And in 5 minutes, I would prove that they're all fakes. It wouldn't even probably take me 5 minutes. Take me a minute to prove that everybody that worked on the Suicide Squad has no idea about who Batman is, anything about the previous games, and they were just weird hires that they brought in. Bet.
Here we go.
I'd have them crying like babies in minutes. After interrogating them. Actually, I wouldn't even have to interrogate them. I'd just have to raise my voice to prove it. They would fold like a deck of cards.
If I spend any more time on site in this crap weather, I'm gonna turn into a friggin' ice. Back off! You can't arrest me!
You're right, but I can make sure you're still here when the GCP...
And all the rhetoric in the game making fun of Arkham fans for the past 10 years,
Send your closest unit to my location.
that wasn't necessary. That was just mean-spirited. That was like, haha, we have the rights to your license and we're going to ruin your favorite franchise because we can. That was very juvenile. Think about it. When people make Tomb Raider games, do they punch down on the audience from years ago? I've played all the new Tomb Raider games. I never remember Lara, like, acting like her previous games were, like, misogynistic or any of that stuff. She doesn't even bring up her previous games in her new game. But Rocksteady's Suicide Squad had to punch down on the Arkham fan base for no reason whatsoever. In the banter between the characters in the game, Harley looking at her previous costumes, the museum story of the 3 Arkham games, all that stuff was just utterly disgraceful. It wasn't funny. It was done deliberately to be like, ha, this is what Batman's gonna be now. Screw you. The past was toxic. Those type of people need to be strung up by their fingernails. I'm just saying. Or my personal favorite, Tar and Feather. Yeah, people did used to tar and feather them. And your skin would peel when you tried to get the tar off. Oh, yes.
People used to run people out on a rail.
Mm-hmm. Running people out on a rail? I don't remember that torture method.
It wasn't a torture method, it was humiliation.
Why did Sefton Hill allow it? Because he was leaving the company. He was always planning on leaving the company. There was a lot of problems that were happening behind the scenes, not just with Activism, but also the different ownership of Warner Brothers. Remember I told you, after Arkham Knight, Warner Brothers went through 2 transitional phases of different companies owning them. AT&T and Time Warner. AT&T and Warner Brothers just called each other AT&T and Warner. And then they split off into a new division called Warner Media. They weren't even Warner Brothers anymore. They were called Warner Media from 2018 until 2023. And then they became Warner Brothers Discovery in 2024, if I remember correctly. Or was it 2023? One of those. So the Suicide Squad game was impacted not just by Activism, but also by the different ownership of Warner Brothers and them not having any clear inclination what the heck they were doing. So Sefton Hill found a way out, and he and his team, they bounced. They finished the story, and then it was up to the team to, you know, do the character banter and all this other stuff. I don't think he imagined the Suicide Squad to turn out as badly as it did, but he wasn't there to correct it. When the captain leaves the ship, you have no leadership. You just hand it to the first mate. I mean, are they really going to listen to the first mate? No. If Sefton would have had the gall to stay, I think the Suicide Squad would have still been bad, but I don't think it would have been as bad. All he did was write the principal story. You know, like the bullet points. Everybody else filled in the gaps. That's the problem. The story itself is not bad. It's just everything in between that's bad. That continues to make it worse.
Blackgate. The guards are worse than the prisoners.
That's all going to change now. Go.
Yeah, she makes a joke about Atlantis being fictional, but, like, she doesn't punch down on the Tomb Raider fans. You show me, Jotaro, where Lara is literally, unlike the Netflix cartoon, the new Netflix cartoon is punching down on Tomb Raider fans from the 90s and the 2000s. You can't say otherwise. It is. I'm talking about the cool Survivor games that were kind of M-rated. She never said anything bad about the people that used to play her games. That's what I'm saying. She didn't. There would be no reason to. But yeah, I you know, I stand by what I said. Like, if I was in the room with 1 minute with most of those people that said all that, like, horrible stuff about Batman on Twitter when they were developing the Suicide Squad game, I guarantee you, 1, I would have them crying, and 2, I would prove that they're fakes and tourists within just 30 seconds. And based on the final result of the game, I'm not wrong. I still have archived all the things that they said over the course of development, bookmarked on my K-Wing Reviews thing, because I was going to make an expose on them to prove that they set out to make a horrible game about Batman and his world at the get-go. I might still make that video someday once the whole woke stuff is completely gone. I'll expose all those people. I've been compiling evidence about that stuff for years. Tweets and people's, like, Instagrams and Facebooks and all this other stuff to prove a point. To prove that it was, 1, deliberate, and 2, they had an agenda. It wasn't just, oh, we're just making a superhero game and you're just mad because we're this type of ideology or blah, blah, blah. No, you set out to systematically destroy something that you didn't create. Has nothing to do with what you identify as. You identify as an asshole. Excuse me. Whoops. Gotta put money in the swear jar.
Luke, I'm gonna need $1.
Dang it! Amber's here! I completely forgot. Can somebody loan me $1? You're so quiet. I didn't even know you were sitting there. Crap. See, Amber doesn't like swearing. How about $2? Yeah. No, what? Stop raising the price.
Depends on the time of day.
But yeah, I aside from the colorful language, you know, I stand by what I said. Like, I don't have a problem if you put out your A game and you do the best you can. Like, I don't know personally who the writer, like, I don't know anything about the guy that wrote Arkham Shadow. I don't know anything about his personal life. I don't know anything about his politics. What I do know is that he put in the time and effort to research, and regardless of what type of individual he is, like I said, I don't know anything. He could be straight. He could be whatever. I don't know. He's very under the radar. What I respect about the guy who did Arkham Shadow, the story, is he put in the work. He put in the research. He did his best to go through all the prequel games, Arkham Origins, Blackgate, and try to fill in the gaps. I respect that. I respect people that hustle. I do not respect people that take the source material and they run it through a shredder, like a paper shredder. I don't respect people like that. They're lazy, they're obnoxious, and they're only doing things to get a reaction. That's what the people who made the Suicide Squad is. That's the difference. Is I personally, I'm not even going to investigate what the dude who wrote Arkham Shadow is. I don't care. I don't care about his politics. I don't care about his personal life. What I care about is that he showed initiative. He wrote a great story. And he did the best job he could have. He put 100% into it, and his results speak for themselves. You know, I respect that. I respect the hustle. That's what we used to say back in the day. When somebody would hustle, that means they would work really hard. Doesn't mean they were doing like a side hustle or a scam or something like today. Hustle meant something else. I don't know what it means anymore. That's what I remember, though. I respect people that work hard. And try. The people who made the Suicide Squad, they didn't try. They failed on purpose. And they did it to try to own the chuds. As a lot of them are quoted on Twitter saying. Which is why they had Harley kill Batman the way it was. And they did that whole Reddit mod speech at the end where she shot him.
We got a problem, boys.
I also have evidence that the Suicide Squad, the ending was never clones. They did that to own the chuds. They did that to, like, quickly try to reverse what happened so that they could try to, you know, get back their reputation after screwing up horribly. Because here's the thing. If they were clones, how come they didn't disclose that in the beginning? How come they didn't disclose that after everybody beat the game? They waited until the last DLC, and the last DLC focused on not voice-acted stuff by the main cast. It featured a still pictures with Harley Quinn explaining what the real story was. So you're telling me, okay, you're telling Professor Kwing, Batman expert, that they always planned from the get-go to have Harley Quinn do this speech at the end with only one actor and really bad still shots explaining the clone thing in 30 seconds at the last update? Go screw yourself. Fictional. They got caught and they tried desperately to do damage control. That's what happened. They never ever planned on, you know, going the other way. They planned on killing the Justice League. They planned on making fun of the Justice League. And their heroes were going to be the Suicide Squad. That was the plan. And what happened is they had to course correct very quickly in order to get any of their reputation back. Because people hated them. That's the truth. If they planned on doing that from, like, you know, when all the voice actors were around, it's very easy for them to get Tara Strong to come in and read, like, one line. They didn't even have the rest of the Suicide Squad there. They had Harley Quinn fill in the gaps, not just for Kevin Conroy, but the Superman actor, the Flash, Amanda Waller, all those people. The only person that they could get to do the voiceover was one character. Those are facts. Which is why I hate the Suicide Squad with a passion, is because they didn't even stick to their guns. They chickened out like a bunch of cowards. For real. Because now they can say, well, it was always the plan. It's like, was it really the plan? You gave us literally the worst ending to a video game ever, that felt like a 5-year-old threw that together, like in 24 hours to try to, you know, make sure their homework was turned in. That's what it felt like. It didn't feel like a well thought out, orchestrated thing. It felt like, okay, we need to turn this in. We have to course correct really fast. Otherwise, we're missing Riddler Thug. Guy's missing. I've never seen that. This thing here is gone. Apprehend the Blackgate Thug is gone. He's not here. That's really weird. I've never seen that. It's just they're saying he's here, but he's not there. Bizarre. Alright, I'm going to try to go to a new area. That's really bizarre. Yeah, but here's the thing. and I've said this before, the people who made the Suicide Squad were not the same people who made Arkham. They want you to believe that. The people who made Arkham Asylum was made up of a team that worked at Square and a team that worked at Rocksteady. Not all of them were back to make Arkham City. Rocksteady went off on their own and made Arkham City by themselves. Most of the team that made Arkham City did not make Arkham Knight. Half the team that made Arkham City made Arkham Knight. Most of the people who made Arkham Knight did not stay around for the Suicide Squad. So if only like half the people stayed from Arkham City to Arkham Knight, less than like probably 40 or 38% stayed to do the Arkham, or sorry, not the Arkham thing, the Suicide Squad. And they didn't stay to completion. There was a bunch of new hires that came in like midway through development. Even the people who used to work on Arkham Knight, they left the project and went with Sefton. And they went to other studios. Like, there are horror stories of people working on the Suicide Squad. Well before Sweet Baby Incorporated and other consultant narrative people got in. Now remember, a consultant agency is a narrative person. They're responsible for dialogue and banter and things like that and making sure that people adhere to certain things. They're not responsible for game development, but they can tell people what to do, especially thanks to Arnita Sarkeesian and all the influence that she did. They're allowed to bully developers and make them do whatever they want in terms of like making their life a PR nightmare, getting them fired, all this other stuff. Harassing them, being like, oh, why aren't you race swapping this character? Why aren't you doing that? That's the kind of stuff Sweet Baby did. Sweet Baby was in charge. They had 11 writing credits for narrative, and they had 11 writing credits for banter, as well as biographies. They wrote all the bios, and the bios are really weird. You know how every Arkham game has like a biography where you can read stuff and get more about the lore? Sweet Baby Incorporated wrote that stuff, which is so far off the rails you wouldn't believe it. They also wrote the dialogue for the tapes, the inmate tapes, as well as they did several of the weird banter for punching down on Arkham fans. That wasn't Rocksteady, that was Sweet Baby. Because they hate Arkham fans because Arkham fans are toxic according to them. Male gaze, all that stuff. So people saying that they had no influence on the game, they're drunk. Because Sweet Baby's already claimed influence years after. They did a seminar explaining what they did. And they also said, if somebody doesn't let you do what you want to do, then you need to put the fear into them. You need to terrorize them so that they do what you want because it's for progress. So they are bullies. They are progressive whack jobs that believe that gamers are stupid and need to be re-educated.
And I'll get out again.
I wouldn't count on it.
I don't know, I'm gonna take a small nap, but that's what I was saying the other day, like, that's what I was talking about that day you got DDoS so hard on one of my streams. Oh, I'll put this over here. Sorry, it's bothering.
What is that?
I'll put it over here.
Is that egg drop soup?
No, it's lemon and olive oil with remainders of my hard-boiled eggs in it.
Okay, interesting.
But I was saying like the right way to do activism is like, remember that Little People Big World reality show?
Yeah, vaguely.
Where they have the people with dwarfism and they run the farm.
Yeah.
So
Link, no.
the dad on that show was an activist for little people. He helped little people and get more information for little people in hotels. That was one of his jobs.
Mm-hmm.
What he did was he invented a special kind of stool that could fold up and be in every hotel room. And he was trying to basically be an activist and get that product in every hotel room in America so that little people could have a stool so that they could actually reach the coats and stuff when they went to the hotel.
That's very nice.
Exactly. And the thing is, he already made the product. He had to sell the product, and he had the solution to the problem. But he didn't sit there. His job wasn't to sit there and harass hotels and scream at them and say they didn't have enough stuff for little people.
He made the product, and then
He did something about it, and he fixed the solution. He had to actually sell his product to the people. Like, they had to decide if they were going to buy it or not. And he had to like sell it like a salesman and say like
Tell
you're
him I
probably gonna have
said
little
hello.
people at your hotel, so you're probably gonna need this.
Yeah.
So like that's what activists for gaming should have done. They should have made their own games, and they should have sold them. But they didn't. They just sat there screaming at people to change the games that were already there.
No,
It's so stupid. They didn't sell a product. They didn't create a solution, and they didn't even have people to market. They didn't even have there are actually little people that go to hotels, but are there really activists that buy video games?
No.
I don't think so.
But here's the thing: they do make their own games. They don't sell.
Yeah.
So what?
that-
No, let me finish.
I
So
will.
what they did is they were so mad at gamers over the years because they would make specialty games for like certain types of people, and those games wouldn't sell. So then what they tried to do is they like mold their way into mainstream entertainment, and they started to bully and harass people to include, aka inclusion, of like no more use of the term male and female. That's one. Making sure that uglification of women was a thing, where women would look more like men in order to appease that one group. And they kept going after mainstream stuff, and they did not think that there would be pushback. They thought that they could re-educate people and change things in their favor.
But
No room left for us normal
If
guys.
there was a straight romance, they were going to include another type.
Sure they'll make
But-
space.
they're going based on the presumption that people are
Send a unit to my
morons.
location for a pickup.
Like they're saying I'm gonna re-educate you as if we don't know how male and female works already.
Well, the thing
Like,
is,
it's like,
when they say re-educate, they meant like they weren't expecting pushback. What they don't understand about gamers, and this is not a hard thing to understand, gamers want to be left alone. Gamers, when they come home from their really crappy job or, really bad day at school, they don't want to be reminded of what the world is. They don't care. They want to put in their game, whether it's sci-fi or fantasy or a farming sim, whatever. They
Right.
don't want the real world to follow them into their stuff. Especially, it was getting to the point where they were having censorship of like M-rated games, like women weren't allowed to be attractive or have like, the outfits people were paying for.
Right.
Games that focused on romance would have to include an option for, another type of romance.
Right.
And it
exactly.
wouldn't be optional. What they started to do, this is why they lost. With the last game that came out, Dragon Age Origins, or whatever, I think that was what it's called.
Oh right.
the Dragon
That had
Age
some
game.
Weird, that had some
No,
like
no.
NC-17 stuff. in it.
Not just that, but usually how a lot of people get away with stuff is it's optional. Like the
Right.
quest in Spider-Man Miles Morales, you do
Right.
not have to do that quest.
Right.
You won't
exactly.
complete the game 100%, but it is a side quest.
Like you can still finish the game.
What they did with the Dragon Age game that came out is they made not only the stuff like part of the main story,
To hide.
but you couldn't skip the cutscenes. You had to sit through the propaganda.
I picked them up this afternoon from the courier and hid them around the neighborhood just like the boss asked. I was just following orders.
And now you're going to take
Just
a nap.
like Suicide Squad, you had to sit through.
Like with Mass Effect, the difference between Mass Effect and some of these other games that people like to, to say, Mass Effect gives you the option. If you want to go down the route of not being straight, you can do that, and the entire game is going to change based on the type of choices you do. You could also, if you got really mad at the person you were dating, you could shoot them in the face. There were options. Like, even if you went down that route, in Mass Effect and Fable, you could do horrible things to the people that you didn't like. And
Right.
nowadays, what they do in gaming is
Yeah.
they protect this class to the
Yeah,
point
it's
where
like
you
can shoot everyone but certain.
well,
types of
not just
people.
that. Like, if you don't like them, and you don't want to be around them, they're always forced to be around you. With gaming, there was always choices. So the reason why they lost a lot of the game industry is they had several games, not just Dragon Age, that forced the inclusion that people did not want. People were fine, like, if it's in the game, if it's like a side option, but they were forcing you to go through it. And then that wasn't the only problem. Then once they had you there, They had a character that was telling you if you misgender somebody, it's not enough to just say sorry. You have to do push-ups. And you have to feel bad for even thinking about misgendering them.
You have to do push-ups. They were telling the character in the game?
They were having a polite conversation with a character in the game that had different pronouns. And then the person who made the mistake, they're like, oh, I messed up. I have to go punish myself now.
Wait a second. Then that should be like that for everyone. What if there's somebody who can't eat beef because of their religion, and you accidentally eat a hamburger in front of them? Should you do push-ups then? That should be for everyone then. That should go for
nobody
everyone.
Should do that. Nobody should do that.
But I'm just saying, like, if that's a thing, then now that's gonna have to be for everyone then.
Right. But you could see that this stuff just kept spiraling and spiraling and spiraling and spiraling to the point where gamers were just like, enough! You know, it was just... like I said, it's the tea kettle approach. The kettle is going, you know, the whistling noise of the kettle. It's still going, it's still going, it's still going. Eventually, that hot water that's boiling, it leaves the kettle. It overflows. That's what was happening. So this was always going to be a fad because gamers are really nice people usually. You know? They're like, okay, we're going to let this slide for a while. This is okay, this is okay, this is okay. And then it's like, enough! You know?
Yeah,
it reaches a boiling point.
Other people don't act like that, because remember we were at the game store and I said Merry Christmas to that person, but they were Jewish, and they said, oh, I'm Jewish, and I said, oh, sorry, Happy Hanukkah. Like, they didn't make me do push-ups.
Right.
And they weren't angry at me. They didn't act crazy like these people.
Mm-hmm.
They just were like, oh, just by the way, I'm Jewish. Like, people don't get crazy like that in real life.
They say? Did you kill Bane?
No, he's behind bars, and soon you'll be too.
But yeah, that's what the whole thing was. It just kept escalating.
But why
the
is
Suicide Squad and Dragon Age and all this other stuff.
But it's not fair that it's just this one group that everyone has to do push-ups for.
No, nobody has to anymore. They lost.
I know, but it's just weird that they would even expect people to grovel before them when they don't do that for other people that they mess up with. Because I was noticing even those activists, when they were coming and hating on us, they misgendered me online. They called me a man.
What?
I told them that. I responded to them. They said, oh, ha ha ha, you were a blah blah blah, and he always does this. And I said, I am a female. Like, you actually, those people, you know...
Well, I've already said
those
this.
Those people actually misgendered me online, which is ironic that they actually, that's their whole spiel, and they're the ones misgendering me.
The thing is, what people don't understand about husband and wives, and I'm going to let people know a secret about marriage. Husband and wives do not agree or like everything that the other person does. Like, Amber and I have very different political beliefs. Like, I'm not going to get into Amber's stuff, and I'm not getting into mine, but we don't talk about politics because we don't agree.
Yeah, but people actually...
Let me finish.
Yeah, people rope us in together and always act like we have the same opinion about everything.
Nope. Amber and I have, like, disagreements on scripture. We have different interpretations of that, but we don't argue about it. We respect that we have a different opinion. And as long as it doesn't deviate too much from, you know, the gospel of Christ, we don't really get into it. But Amber and I have different TV shows, like, that we watch. We have different hobbies. We don't do... Just because we work together, it doesn't mean that as a married couple you do everything the same and that you have the same thought process. It doesn't work that way. Amber's an individual. I'm an individual. It's always been that way.
When I get out, I'm coming for you. You and your whole stinking family.
You shouldn't have said that.
That's how it works. Like, the haters, they group Amber and I...
Yeah, they
in the same opinion.
Like, they constantly, like, will say that I have all these opinions about Batman, and it's like, I don't even know what comic you're referring to. And then they say that, like, Luke said ignorant things about Spider-Man when that was me that said it. They literally group us together, even though we're two different people. They act like we're the same person.
Mm-hmm.
So weird. Like, it's like...
It's because they see a married couple and they think the married couple does all the things together when we don't.
But isn't that misgendering us? Like, I don't really understand.
I don't know how that works.
So we're not supposed to get stuff wrong about them, but they're allowed to say all kinds of bad stuff about us as a married couple. It's weird.
But I mean, this is a long time ago. When I think this was early in our marriage. So it doesn't matter anymore because this is 20 years ago. But I'll just show you guys. When I was really young, I was Team Bush. Like, I loved W. W was a man who had ADD. He stuttered. You know, he became president. He was a role model for me. Amber was Team McCain.
I'm team anyone who was a general in the army.
Amber was a big fan of John McCain, and the reason why she wanted him to be president, and we disagreed a lot, the reason why she wanted McCain is because McCain was a POW, and he was a soldier, and Amber loves soldiers.
Yeah,
She didn't like the fact that W was just a reservist, and he didn't fight in a war. He was just, Army Reserve. Like, actually, he was Air Force Reserve, because he was a pilot.
Yeah, that's true. I do feel like people that have been a general or someone in the army, I think that they have more qualifications to lead the country. I do believe that.
So Amber also didn't like the fact that I was a registered independent. Like, she was like, if you have like some conservative views, why aren't you listed as a Republican? So she didn't like that aspect of that, but she respected it and she never bothered me about it, because I don't have all the same views that a Republican would have. Like, I have some, but I also have some things that I like that Democrats and Libertarians say. So that makes me very different than a lot of people in my family. But I always get roped in with, like, I share the same political opinion as my wife. No, I don't. We're not one of those couples that sit down and, discuss politics at the dinner table or really any time. Like, it's just something we don't agree with. So why fight over it?
Please don't.
Or disagree over it.
When I get out, I'm coming for you, freak.
I'm looking forward to it. Bring your friends, too.
Hunting.
Gordon,
BTAS Attack.
another scumbag at my location for pickup.
Marriage.
Well,
What's...
I didn't finish making your salad.
Oh.
I think I need to take a nap, then get up, then make the rest of your salad, and go to sleep.
Is there food still out? Do I need to put the... Okay, then you're fine. You don't have to worry about Linky climbing in and eating something you shouldn't.
I always think... Well, I haven't told you this, but I always think of the reason why... You know the movie Speed, where they get together and she says to him that most relationships that...
I'm listening. What?
Most relationships that start out with extremely, stressful circumstances never make it or something.
I mean, I was in and out of the hospital our first couple years of marriage.
Remember? But then they get together anyway in the movie Speed?
Yeah.
Because they went through a lot together?
Yeah.
Well, that's how I think of our relationship. Is like...
The movie Speed?
Yeah, I think we're like that movie. I think we're like Keanu Reeves and, what's her name? Sandra Bullock. Because Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves, they didn't discuss their politics before they got together.
Nope.
They just kissed because they had been through a lot together. They went through actual real life things together. So that's how our relationship is. Like, we didn't really discuss a lot of things about everything we believe. We just got together.
Well, if I'm being completely honest, since we're going to the marriage route for this stream, in marriage, there's a lot of things that can come up in your relationship, and you don't want to add politics to the mix. There are life things that'll happen that will test you as a couple, like illness or death or, financial problems or whatever. You don't need to pile on politics and difference of opinion, on top of that, because that's how you're going to make your marriage fail. If you are going to be a married couple, the first thing that you have to put out of your mind when you're a couple is your political differences. You shouldn't talk about them. You shouldn't.
I mean, you only go to the voting booth once a year or whatever, or twice.
Is it once a year?
Well, it depends on how many times, if you're voting for...
I thought it's every 2 to 4 years.
Yeah, 2 to 4 years or whatever, but it's like... you don't even need to tell your spouse who you voted for if they don't care.
I thought that's supposed to be private.
It is. Like, I don't even ask Luke.
No.
Like, it doesn't even matter to me.
Gordon.
Okay, I am curious, but...
Available units. We've got a call of a violent crime. Still waiting on location details.
They interrupted his dialogue!
Oops.
That's gone now! The thing between Jim and the rap, we lost it!
Yeah, but like I even
That
stayed.
sucks.
I even stayed with a family for a while that. Remember that family that I stayed with? He was Protestant, she was Catholic.
Yep.
And they had been married for like 40 years or something.
Yep.
And every Friday he would have a cookout and she would eat fish because Catholics eat fish on Friday.
Yep.
So they would do their separate things on Friday, but the rest of the week everything was perfectly fine. So it's like that's just normal. That's part of marriage. Is like you don't even have to. Honestly, there are several people. I know a lot of people that are actually two different religions that are married.
I have
Like,
known that
it
too.
is.
Yep.
I grew up with a. There was someone in my Awanas class that their mom was Christian and their father was Buddhist, and they had 3 kids and they had a very successful marriage. So it's like, there's a lot of things you can actually disagree on in marriage, and if you love each other and you agree. Marriage is an agreement to stay together and be a team, like to death do you part.
Yep.
It doesn't mean you have to agree on everything. It just means you have to be a team together.
Yep.
It's like the same as if you make a contract to work somewhere. You're a team. You clock in to work every day, so you clock into your job, which is being married every day. That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put this in the sink.
That's fine. We have a glitch. We can't get the last inmate.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, it's Arkham Origins being Arkham Origins.
I do find it very strange that, like, I keep getting harassed by people based on my quote-unquote Batman opinions when I don't even know what comic book they're even referring to. And it's very stressful to me because, like, people are always yelling at me online and I don't even know what they're talking about. Like, I don't even know what they're referring to. I don't even know anything about that comic.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the same thing where when I say something random, like I didn't know about Spider-Man or whatever, and then you get people harassing you about it when it wasn't even you who said it. It's just very confusing to me that people couldn't, like, can they not tell the difference between your voice and mine on a stream? Because I think our voices sound pretty different.
Yeah, your voice is pretty and my voice is deep. There's a difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, but it just,
Now they randomly showed up. I knew I wasn't crazy. He wasn't there for the longest time. He was not there. He just what? I combed this area several times. He wasn't there. He just randomly appeared. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. This is why I don't like Arkham Origins sometimes. Is because actual things that you're looking for just vanish. And there's no rhyme or reason for it to vanish. It just disappears. It's like, oh, you need to go find that character? Too bad, so sad, he's gone. Disappeared in the blink of an eye. Sucks to be you.
yeah.
Guess you won't get to complete it.
I mean, in reality, though, if you think about it, like, the activist games such as Concord and stuff, like, the fact that they didn't do very well, it just shows that, like, that should get a clue, like, that there's not an audience for that.
Yeah, but they don't pay attention to clues. You could literally put a sign on front of their house. It's probably not a good idea to do this. Even if the sign has giant neon letters and you can't miss the sign, they will still miss the sign. They'll still miss what you're trying to say.
But, like,
There are people that do not see the forest before the trees.
They should just admit defeat. Like,
They can't.
The honorable thing they could do is, like...
They don't have honor.
Like, say I was making... Well, say I was doing that... Say I was an activist for hotels like that. I can't think of any other ideas. But say I was trying to make a product for people that only had one leg. And I tried to, sell this product to every hotel. But hardly anyone has one leg. So it wasn't selling. I should just admit defeat and be like, you know what? This is not worth it. Because there's not enough people that are going to need this product. So I don't really think I should push this product anymore. Because there's not an audience for it. And honestly, that's how these activists should really do it. Like, they should be like, well, we thought there was a huge amount of people, an outcry, and we made this game called Concord, and then nobody bought it. So we just realized that it's just a bunch of people that are 13 living in their mom's basement with, like, 1,000 bot accounts on Twitter that are pretending that they're outcrying, but really they're all 13 years old, and they don't have any job or ability to buy anything, so we can't really sell games to children living in their mother's basement with a computer. So, we can't really sell this product anymore.
Is there something on the stove that's on?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I smelled something really strong. Link smelled it too. His nose was making nose motions. Well, I'm like a cat sometimes.
Blackgate ain't gonna hold us for long. That Joker made sure of that.
Then maybe it's time for a stronger prison. Maybe something surrounded by water.
Wait, I thought Blackgate is surrounded by water.
Alright, that's the last of them. Thanks, Batman. I owe you one.
Then do me a favor. Tell your people to back off and let me do my job.
I'll think about it.
Don't take too long. I've got a feeling we'll be doing this again soon.
I have a feeling we'll be doing this again, he says. Foreshadowing all the times that Blackgate is going to become a revolving door. Alright. I really don't want to do any Riddler stuff. In fact, I'm going to change the thumbnail, guys. We did all the inmate stuff today. And, next time we're going to... Or, not next time. Coming up next, we're going to be doing the, campaigns. With the terrible Batman skin that I cannot stand. So that'll be fun. What's the super chat? I got another Miku blanket. More Miku stuff is fun. Will you be doing I Am the Night mode this year? No. I have no reason to do I Am the Night mode again. I Am the Night, and I'm just going to say this again, I Am the Night was a sponsored series that was done by an Ultimate. That was incredibly stressful because death literally was all over the place. And the only way that I would even consider, for the swear jar, the way that I would only consider doing I Am the Night again is if it's a paid series. Now, the benefits to the paid series is you get to see me freak out, and you get the music for the game without having to worry about, there's no music right now, obviously. And I have to do it. Like, if it's I Am the Night, I'm not going to be at my A game because, there's no stakes involved. If it's a paid series, there's stakes for me to not only play well, but also to do the best I can with commentary and topics and all kinds of stuff. Because it's a paid series. But me just doing it willy-nilly, no. Never happened. Also, whoever does I Am the Night mode again, we have to start all over again because the PS3 erased the save file. Remember? We were doing I Am the Night mode in the PS3. That's when it started to break down. Yeah, it was sponsored by Alpha, but it could be... Anybody could sponsor it if they want to. Doesn't matter. I'm game for whatevs. But anyway, people, that's the video, or the stream. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening, all that fun stuff. Hopefully you guys had fun. You learned something. Enjoyed me beating up inmates. I will be changing the thumbnail. Thumbnail's going to be changing. This was not the data packs. Now I have no excuse tomorrow not to do the data packs. There's nothing left in my way that is preventing me from doing the data packs. And I'm not happy about that. I have no excuses. I have nothing to shy away from it. And that is terrifying. But, thank you guys for watching. Next up is the campaign mode. I'm going to get something to eat. I'm going to polish off a box of cereal or something. I know, it's okay, Sweet Pea. I'm still going to try, yeah, the PS3 play, yeah, it's RIP PS3, yep. It sucks. But you've got another Arkham stream, and then I have another fun Phaland later tonight, which I'm really enjoying that indie game. Some people have been asking, why are you playing that weird 2D game? It's fun. I'm a gamer. Yes, I play a lot of Batman games. I've been typecast as that. I know it. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm still a gamer. Once I'm done with Arkham, I'll be playing all kinds of games. I'm going to be looking at Animal Crossing on the 15th, because there's a new update. I'm going to be looking at, mostly because of the Zelda stuff in Animal Crossing. I mean, come on. Seriously. Also, I haven't been to my village in years. I don't even know what to expect. Yeah, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be an interesting revisit for the Switch 2 version. Then I'll be doing Final Fantasy, and I'll be doing some other stuff. Be doing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. You know? Going back to Arkham Knight to finish the 200 riddle thingies that remain. It's going to be a lot of Riddler and data packs that are going to drive everybody crazy.
I made a mess in the kitchen, but I plan to get up early to clean it.
Yeah. So I'll be doing chores too, guys, in between streams. I have a trash run I have to do and some other stuff, so the music will run for a while. I might have to make another YouTube short, I might not, but hopefully we won't have like too long of a wait between the next stream. So mods, if you could send people over to the next one, that would be fantastic. And I only have 2 more streams after this one. 1939, Crappy Batsuit, and Phelan Part 3. I've been a gamer since 1986, so I love video games. I really hope there's some good fighting games like this January, because I really want to play a good fighting game. Like, I want to get a fighting game stream going on something, because I love fighting games so much. I'm not the best at them, but I love playing them. There says, any Zelda amiibo? I don't know anything about that. We'll look into it, okay, guys? I gotta bounce and get the next stream started, okay? So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the fun stream. And see you guys over on the next one, alright? God bless. Happy gaming. See you in a bit.